I heard you want to know about how astrologers make money. Maybe you watch your favorite YouTubers online or you follow some astrologers on Instagram and you wonder, how do astrologers make money? They can't possibly just be giving readings. That is a lot of energy to be doing that. Or perhaps you are looking to get started as an astrologer and you're also curious, how can I make money with this profession? Let's go ahead and answer your question. Most astrologers start out with giving one-on-one readings, and the type of readings can vary. You can give natal chart readings, you can give electional readings, you can give the year ahead or sort of like birthday year readings. And the nice thing about these beginning with these readings is that a lot of people are quite interested in them, and they are quite approachable in the sense that people have heard about them, they know what to expect, and it's very much tailored to that one person because it's a one-on-one consultation. What you will find with one-on-one readings is that they actually tend to tire you out much faster. And over time, as you grow bigger and you have a lot of clients, you can be booked for a really long time. That could be really nice, but it could also be not so nice because your wait lists start to become like years into the future. And it's still exchanging your time for money. So it can be quite tiring and it can be quite time consuming. Most astrologers charge anywhere between 100 euros, US dollars, all the way to 200. And some astrologers that are even more well known and more experienced can charge even more. So if you're familiar with astrologers from the social media sphere, then they're most likely also earning money through their social media. There are many ways you can earn money through social media, such as affiliate marketing, brand deals, and ads revenue. And it's most likely that some of these social media astrologers are earning money through that as well. If they're getting high enough views, high enough engagement, also quite a few subscribers, then you can probably assume that they're earning some money at least from ad revenue if they're on YouTube. And if you see them doing brand partnerships and featuring products or services, then they're most likely getting money through that as well. If they have links in the description, most likely they're affiliate links, and this means that every time you make a purchase, they also get a little bit of money from that as well. And this type of ability to earn money as an astrologer can really nicely supplement one-on-one readings because it's not in exchange for time. And so it allows you to just put in however many hours making a video, put it up online, and start to see some money trickling in based on how many people watch it and not necessarily on how much time you put into it. Although the more time you put into a video, usually the better quality and the more views it gets, but that's an entirely different thing. This part of your income as an astrologer can really vary. So you can be somebody that's just starting out on the online scene and you're not earning any money from it, or you're just earning a couple $100, euros here and there. Or you can be somebody that's quite experienced, you're getting thousands of views on videos, maybe even working with brands, which can be quite lucrative. So you could literally be earning like a good monthly income that you could just live off of if you have a strong online presence. Let's talk about physical media, and let's not forget about physical media. I know we live in an online world, so we usually like to feature the things that we do online, but physical media for astrology is just as important, and I would say just as booming. So what I mean by physical media is writing horoscopes or writing articles for magazines or newspapers, and perhaps going into the publishing world and writing a book yourself as an astrologer. And the astrology book business is really, really quite booming. I swear every astrologer I know is like, oh, I'm publishing a book, I'm publishing a book. This physical media, I find as an astrologer really gives you a sort of solid backbone, or it gives you some sort of expertise that online media doesn't as much. I think we still live in a world where we really value physical things. We tend to see somebody that has published a book as more influential, or, oh, there must be somebody. And if we see somebody that is regularly publishing their astrology forecasts, horoscopes, with a magazine, with a newspaper, then we also think, hey, they must be legit. Like, this magazine wouldn't be paying them and giving them the place in the magazine, in the newspaper, to write. So that's one thing to consider if you're going into physical media. I haven't ventured into physical media, but I do not think it's very lucrative. It's not something that you do to sort of get rich. But I think what it is nice about is that, I mean, first of all, a lot of astrologers love writing, but second of all, it really gives you a sort of weight to your word, and I think can reach a really, really broad audience as well. So talking about all sorts of physical things, let's address events. I've actually been seeing a lot more astrologers also moving into the events. I think as astrologers, we were quite heavily present during the lockdown times online, and a lot of us were missing that connection. And I think if you go into astrology, you are quite likely, you thrive on that deeper connection, which sometimes you don't get as much online. So what you see with astrologers doing online events as a source of income, you start to see them going to, for example, maybe a yoga center, a meditation center in the community, and offering a sort of new moon or full moon event where people can gather and they, journal, or they talk about the astrology. You see quite a few astrologers nowadays offering some sort of retreat where they go with the whole group of their community somewhere beautiful like Italy or Greece, and they just do an astrology trip. They do excursions, they learn. So you see quite a bit of that coming up as well. And finally, what you also see quite a bit is, as astrology is gaining popularity, brands that are hosting an event, maybe there's a new brand that they're opening a brand new store on a really popular location. So they're going to host a pop-up event, or they're going to host an opening day event. And when you're hosting an opening day event, you might want to have an astrologer there that's sort of giving like 5-minute readings to the people that are interested. And of course, the business that is hosting you is paying you for this. The people coming in are not usually. But it really allows people to have something sort of extra at that event. It really gets them excited, and it gets them talking, and it gets them to stay there longer than just like purchasing the stuff and leaving. Now, when it comes to events, I think they can be quite lucrative. So if you're starting to go into the retreats and you really have a solid following and can ask for quite a bit of money for those, then they can definitely be they can definitely have a good earning potential. I think especially because you're working with brands or with usually bigger companies, when you're going to their launching events, you can usually ask for more money as well. Usually when you work with a business, you can ask for more money than when you work with an individual. One caveat to this is you really have to be a type of astrologer that enjoys face-to-face interaction. If you're somebody that's a little bit more on the introverted end, a little bit more on the shy end, then maybe these are not the ways for you to earn money. I think one of the least prominent ways for astrologers to earn money is more of the professional astrology realm. And what I mean by this is, for example, going to astrology conferences where only astrologers attend. It's really like the way where we sort of learn and better our skills. We come as a community together and we exchange thoughts. So, for example, you could be a speaker at that conference, and of course, you would earn money for that. Or, for example, there are quite a few magazines or sort of publications oriented towards astrologers. It's really about the same thing. Astrologers doing research, sharing their new ideas, and getting into some healthy debate with their fellow astrologers. So you can also earn money publishing for these magazines, for these publications. And I believe this is an area that's not very widely available to many astrologers. Not many astrologers step into it. And I also believe it's not an area that's very well paid. You usually earn money through this avenue, but when you're a bit older and a bit more experienced with your astrology. And you also, I don't think you really do it because you care about the money. I don't think this is a very lucrative part of being an astrologer. It's more about really caring about the sharing of thoughts, about sharing new ideas, and really being passionate about astrology and learning. And finally, let's wrap up with the big monster, which is just online media. So I know we touched a little bit of social media where we talked about affiliate marketing, brand deals, and ad revenue. But with online media, what I mean is literally any type of offering you could be giving online. And this is going beyond one-on-one readings, right? You could be offering an online course where you teach people astrology. You could be offering an online course where you give people some information about an upcoming transit and you offer them ways that they could sort of deal with it and work with this transit. I have seen quite a few astrologers nowadays get into a paid newsletter. It allows them to sort of get paid for their work without needing to convince a publication, convince a magazine that they should publish their things. So you see quite a bit of that, a paid newsletter. Any type of group offers, honestly. Having a sort of support group, having an online Facebook group, I have seen astrologers have, for example, a membership where every month or every couple of weeks their community gets a sort of voice recording or a text explaining something about the moon or explaining something about a certain astrology transit. I have seen astrologers capitalize on group meditations or like online meditations that they upload a file somewhere and the community can buy it for a certain price and get to own it and listen to it and enjoy it. I've also seen the same being done with journal prompts, really putting together a list of journal prompts around a specific transit, a specific astrological happening, and selling that to people so that they can use it and they can really work with a specific transit. So the nice thing about this space is that you can get as creative as you want. You can come up with whatever cool idea you can think of and be able to capitalize on it. And what's really interesting about this avenue is that the revenue from it, the amount of money you earn from it, can really range. So you could be somebody that's just starting out. You maybe have 2 or 3 members on your paid newsletter. This is not something that's going to pay for your rent. But if you're combining things, if you have your paid newsletter, you have your one-on-one readings, maybe you also do in-person events, once a month a brand invites you to come to their location, then you can start to see how all of these things might start adding up. But again, if you're somebody that's just starting out, it could be that you have 2 or 3 people sign up for your event, 2 or 3 people sign up for your membership, and that's maybe a couple of $100s or euros, whatever currency you use. So to wrap up, I think that it's an amazing time to be an astrologer because there are so many ways that you can earn money. I'm sure that there is a way or two that I've forgotten to mention in here. Please let me know down below if you love any of these methods. Have you tried out any of these methods if you're an astrologer? And do you think there's sort of like an untapped space for astrologers? I think actually, now that I'm thinking about it, one of the things that we don't really get a lot into is products, like physical products. I am not sure what that could be. I do see some astrologers get into physical products. For example, writing a nice piece of text and then creating like a digital print that you could download and print yourself. So it's not really a product, but eventually it can turn into a product. Anyways, all of that to say is that there are a lot of possibilities, there are a lot of exciting ways to make money as an astrologer, and a lot of creative ways where you can hopefully get creative and also find a unique combination that works just for you. Again, like I said earlier, you might be introverted and don't want to do events. Maybe you really hate readings and you prefer to do group excursions or group events. You can completely customize it to what works for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I also did a video where I explained how I approach reading birth charts. So if you're somebody that's just starting into astrology and want to learn more about that, I'll leave the video for you right here. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon.